right, YouTube, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, opinion, at this man, with George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Body Talk, coming to you live on YouTube. Well, folks, can you believe it? This is September's just about over. We just got a few more days left. Oh God, I just thought about this. 2024 just started, and now we're just 3 months away from 2025. What time is going crazy? Well, folks, we got a busy weekend. We got a couple of shows coming up. As you know, I posted on my channel that these shows are coming up. I will shout out to my big brother, Big Keith. He's competing at this show this weekend. This lovely lady's competing at. It is the Legion Sports Festival. It's been around for quite some time. It's for Olympic qualification for next year's Olympia, because qualification has stopped after last week. So all these competitors are shooting for opportunity to go to the O next year. So we have here is a lovely lady, and she serves our country in the United States Air Force. It says, as I often say, as a citizen, I appreciate the sacrifices that y'all have made for this country. Thank you is never enough, and you're not providing service. Y'all making sacrifices with your time, your life, and also for us here in this country. So we have here, we're gonna say by her proper name, Sergeant Evon Penningon. And she is competing this year at the Legion Sports Festival. She won the show back in 2022. And now she's coming back to see if she can give another shot at the one more time. So we saw a couple of shows. She did Chicago, and also she was at the Arizona Pro. Close, very said close. But we welcome, Sergeant Penningon. Appreciate the time she's given us, and we hope she does well at the coming show. So, madam, thank you for joining us, and we wish you best of luck. So, this is a question I asked you ladies. What got you started in this sport, as I call it, muscle and masculinity? Please share.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here. What got me started in sports? Well, 2014 is when I kind of fell into the sport because two of the guys that competed back to back, they were into the sport bodybuilding, and I at the time was running. I have a background in running track and cross country, and I was training for marathons like repeatedly. So we kind of had the athletic compatibility going. But when the dating scene did not work out, I felt inspired to kind of pick up the weights and kind of use all of my energy and time into sport. And here I am 10 years later.
10 years. Wow. Time flies like that, And yeah, I know quite a few ladies who got into sport because of the athletic background. Quite a few track people, a lot of track competitors like, Linda Murray and someone like Mela Ash, and quite a few ladies who was in the track and field, sports, and who got into bodybuilding. So, what was that like the first time you competed? Because this is a tough sport, especially for a woman.
My first time competing, it was I don't think I'll ever forget this competition. It was called the Flex Fest. It was in Pensacola, Florida. I had my first coach. His name was Marcus Cole, and he was also in the Air Force. He served years, and he prepped me. We did an 8-week diet cleanup, and I lean, and then he advised me to do a show 9 weeks later. I did the Flex Fest in Pensacola. I did 3 categories and came home with 5 trophies. So I won. They had a heroes category for military and first responders. Won that. I had one novice and novice overall, and then I won open and then open overall. So I ended up home with 5 trophies per show. So I was really excited. I just kept going after that.
You get that bite when you get that win. You like, it feels good. I want some more of it, because especially you got to think about this. You're on the stage and you got people looking at you. You're in a little suit, and the nerves can get to you. But this is a sport that you have to be passionate about when you get into it, because, like I said again, there's so much in sport where people don't understand it, especially like your family members and friends. When you got into it, what, like your parents, what were they thinking? Like their little girl is going here pumping and getting these big muscles. I know some say, sweetheart, I don't want you to get too manly, and or sometimes you get dad say, oh, I got a son, I don't need another son.
For perspective, it's actually the sport natural. My parents were very supportive. I didn't. Now I'll admit I was not attracted to the look of bodybuilding prior to getting into it, and so there was a category I felt more comfortable training for, opposed to the more, I guess, intense and intimidating categories. And so, but being athletic, being an athlete training for track, cross country, I was constantly in this diet mode, constantly in the mode of training. So really the bodybuilding was just an aspect of incorporating weightlifting and consistently eating foods that gain help me achieve that look. It really wasn't very far from what I was used to. And so um, I've always had muscular arms. I used to get teased about it in high school. It didn't bother me, never made me into but without weightlifting, and then weightlifting, my muscles look more round. So it came very natural to me. I don't look very different. Have a little bit more volume from 10 years ago. I'm about 25 pounds more weight from 10 years ago, but I don't look very different than so my parents are very supportive. And that's it. If he's country, not. And so
Yeah, that's good to have support of family and friends like that. Because I know, when you get into sports, sometimes people can never really understand it, why you're doing it, why you're passionate about it. There's so much to sport that people don't understand that the time, the sacrifice, and most people in the mindset say like, okay, all you gotta do is pop some pills and I get bigger and huge. But no, that's not the fact of it. You have to be consistent, follow a diet, have a plan. There's days where you can't do like everybody do. Like I know you be in the military and everybody say, "Hey, we're gonna knock off. We're gonna hit the bar. You want to join?" Say, "Nah, I gotta go. I gotta do cardio. I gotta go rest. I gotta get up in the morning." There's so much to this that's evolved as an athlete as you grow. And like I said, the sport has changed over the years. Like you started in 2014, now it's 2024. I mean, it's just the looks have changed. Like you were at one point in figure. So why did you switch over from that division to physique?
uh, yes, started figure. I did figure from 14 to 2000, and I did, and I almost turned pro qualifier. It was at University in 2000 July, and I placed in third, first and second, uh, out of the stage, first and second, and then fourth, fifth got pro masters, and I was on stage for that pro card. So that was a little. But every show I did after that, I just kept worse and worse, and I didn't really understand that, but my body just tired and responsive. So I pushed through, and it was a very slow, stubborn prep. I did um, North Americans, and I felt like that was my best look, but I just did not care. I ended up getting this called out, and then I ended up finishing the season. Just my heart's not wasn't in it. I ended up doing nationals that year, and I think the third called out. So I'm not. It's not really in me to give up. I had to really like take a step back and understand what it was that I wanted. And if I'm being honest, I just did not have the personality present myself in the way that the bigger women present themselves. Heels, glam, the winking, the flirting, all of that. That wasn't personality. And I found myself mimicking some of the things that I felt so unnatural, so out of my element. That's not a direction I wanted to pursue. So, my coach, I was like, "Hey, I want to go up," and he was like, "You're a little small." I get my legs all the time. I work, and then I showed him a girl that who also did with me. Actually was with her at Phoenix, Alex. I forget her last name, but I remember.
Alex Hall.
Yeah, her. She was she were doing nationals together in 2018, and she went up to women's physique and turned pro the following year. So I'm like, she's not much bigger than me, and so I want to go up. And he was just like, all right, take the rest. We'll see how you do. And I made my first. I competed in women's physique in 2018, March of 2018 at Border Clash. And I was not out muscled. I was so about that, but I was out conditioned. And I did another show 2 weeks later, got the national qualifier. 5 weeks later, I did junior nationals, played third, and then ended up doing NPC Universe, placed fifth. About maybe a month or two after junior nationals, took a couple of months off, did nationals, and ended up placing third. So I knew women's physique was a category for me. That I placed behind are very successful pros today. So, not to mention, in 2018, I placed third to Shaw, who was the women's champion. So, got second, and then I do not remember the woman that placed first, but she was definitely but I knew that was a category for me. I felt comfortable in my skin. I feel very feminine. I feel very girly, but I'm not level girly if you were to other competitors are hot. So I'm showcase myself, have the glam, have makeup. I don't have heels. I don't have to shrug my shoulders. Anything, not in my personality. Just who I am. I'm happy with the story.
Yeah, and Andrea Shaw, that's when she turned pro, and now she is the four-time, about to be five-time Miss Olympia champion. I mean, that is an evolution of any athlete. As you grow and you develop, and it takes the time, and you work at it. And sometimes it's some hits and misses. There's that time where it wasn't the right time then, and then you finally get that opportunity, and that it happens. It's just sometimes it's not just the luck of the draw. Sometimes it's hard work is as much as natural talent. We have here my man. Shout out to my man Russ G. He is Russ G Photography. He says evening, brother. Thank you. Shout out to you. And yeah, it's a lot of work to this, and you really have to have a passion for it when you get into sport. Like, and also you're in the military. So when did you join the Air Force, and how long you been now?
I joined the Air Force 2007. This is 17 and a half years for me. Um, I joined the Air Force kind of on an impulsive move. Just wanted to change of pace, and I love it. The Air Force medic and public health. I love what I do. I love the opportunities I get to travel. I love that the job has a lot of room for growth. I do not foresee myself retiring at 20 years. I think I'm going to go a little bit longer. But yeah, I'm very proud to say that I serve and continue to serve. So
Well, and so again, we appreciate the sacrifice you make for our country as you serve for for the this country. What's your ranking position?
my rank right now, I am a E7 Master Sergeant. I just promoted to E7 in March. In position, that's a senior AO, so there are two more stripes ahead of mine that I have to compete for in the next year. I'll be up for E8, and then it's typically every 2 years you kind of get boarded and see how you measure up, and if you make it, it's announced. If you don't, you just keep trying. But um, the my position, I am in public health, so I'm at MacDill Air Force Base. Public health medic. I'm currently the flight chief, so that's the enlisted leader of all of the airmen that work in public health. Yeah, so NCOs or non-commissioned officers, sergeants, if you um, will report directly to me, and then the airmen that they outrank report to them. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. If you were my sergeant, I wouldn't mind reporting to you. You can call, Master Sergeant. I'll be your. I mean, and like I said, yeah, I know. Like I have my oldest niece and my youngest nephew. They were in the army. They did that a few years, and you know what? It's a good life if
Mhm.
you are ready for the commitment, the demand, and also, like I said, that this is, I think, helps you a lot as a bodybuilder because the regimental lifestyle of someone in the military, the routine, it works with your training, the determination, it works, everything comes together that makes you, I think, a decent bodybuilder, a good bodybuilder, I would say. Folks, we're gonna do this while we have her here. We're going to jump to Evon's social media for a little bit. If you want to follow her, her links are in the description of this live stream. You can check her out. Support her. Let's wish her best of luck. If you go to my on my YouTube channel, I also posted the video for the upcoming Legion Sports Fest. You want to check it out. This helps out these competitors if people watch the live stream or even go to the shows. For me, like me, I can't afford to go to all the way to Arizona. Nevada. I know I would love to, but I'm not ready to find a plane just yet. You do like Mr. T, put something in my milk and say, "Hey, we'll get you on the plane." So we're going to follow her, check her out. You want to support her? That's be good. But guys, and Evon, just no offense to you. I say this because it's a disclaimer. I say this to everybody. Guys, no D pics. You never know. You might have a plane crash in your house. Mm-hmm. So stop it. It's not nice, guys. It's not. This is a lovely lady. Have respect. She serves our country. So we're going to jump in here into her social media, and these are nice pictures here. Right here, we have you here when you won your Olympic qualification at the 2022 Legion Sports Fest. What was that feeling like when they told you now you're going to the O?
Excited, but my reaction's usually pretty delayed. I did that show as that was my second pro duet as a pro athlete, hoping to crack top 5. When I did Tampa Pro in 21, I got just outside of the first call out, 7th. So I really wanted to get top 5, and I did not place. I got second in Masters, so I really thought that I would get somewhere in the top 5 open, and they were comparing me to the woman that played the I know her Instagram name, but I don't remember her first name. But I just was not expecting the win. But I kept it positive, and they announced that she got second, and then I was closed my eyes, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm going to the Olympia. Shocked and like, this is really happening. And so I guess it typically happens when, at least for me, when I least expect it. But it just tells me that I have to believe a little bit more optimistically in my ability and myself. And it was a great feeling. The Olympic experience was amazing. I love the venue. I love love all the attire, the rebate, all the things that you got to be a part of that. I love the considered an Olympian from that point on. It was an amazing feeling. I definitely, as you can see, that of my first Olympic qualification was one of my pin pictures. Something I'm very proud of. Amazing. Any this year, if they absolutely deserve it, it is an amazing feeling. I think every athlete should experience it.
Yeah, because you should be proud of yourself. Because you know what? Not everybody can get to the Olympia. It is, one of the top level shows in the sport of bodybuilding. Second to that is the Arnold Schwarzenegger Classic, but they don't have your division anymore. You kicked out women's bodybuilding, physique, and figure. But you still have the Olympia, which is it brought back women's bodybuilding finally after a long time of absentee. Thanks to Jake Wood. I gotta say his name. If I say Jake Wood's name, I gotta do this. Yo, Jake, I want that money. I want that gun. I just can't help it. And here you are at Arizona Pro. And this was like almost a month ago. And this was close. I mean, you look really good. This is like, I was certain because it was between you and Jody Munchuk. I was certain you wouldn't get the qualification. I was kind of surprised. What did you get critique from the judges after? What did they tell you? Because I thought we were shoo in.
I don't get direct feedback from judges. I typically know if I don't win the show, it's conditioning. I definitely struggle with it's not conditioning more so that I struggle with. It's the combination to make my muscles look hard. That's going to be water, carbohydrates, what's happening to my body at that moment. And that week was a terrible week. I had a stomach bug all week. I couldn't hold anything down. It was I was very fortunate not to have any issues GI wise the day of show, but I felt like I could have been a little fuller. It's no one's fault. My coach did everything that he that I could handle, but I know leading up to the show, before the GI issues, I was a little fuller. So looking at my picture, my eyes weren't popping the way that I'm used to seeing. There's some things about my that was a little off, and surprisingly, I was compared to that top four, and I was just happy and grateful that I was in that top four. And then shuffling us around towards the end, I'm like, oh, I don't know if I'm fourth or top two, you know. And then when we were looking at myself and Jody, a lot of people were rooting. They were like, I think you got it. And I'm like, well, I don't know. She's definitely leaner than I am. And there's other factors to consider, and she got it. And I competed with her at Legions 2 years ago. This will be her first Olympia uh, experience. I'm happy for her. She deserves it. And I for the best for it. Honestly, for me, I would have liked to have gone back to Olympia this year, but I had some obstacles to prep, and I have pulled hamstring. I have a couple injuries actually that I'm batting right now, which impacts my training for my lower extremities and impacted my cardio. So it took me a little bit longer to get a leaner. It's still taking me a while to get leaner. So I would have liked to have gone back to Olympia healthier with a tighter physique. And if I had gone this year, it just would not feel like it would have been much more improved than the previous trip. So everything worked out the way it was supposed to. I'm happy for her, Jody, on that qualification. And I will keep striving until I get another qualification.
Yeah. Here you are with Kai Green,
Yeah.
one of the top levels men in the sport of bodybuilding, also outside of bodybuilding. How long y'all know each other?
2 years. Yeah, 2 years.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And who's this gentleman right with you here?
That's my father. Mhm.
Ah, so he also served. So this is a family thing, huh?
Yeah, my dad was he served in the Marine Corps for 13 years, and then took a break so that my family can settle in San Diego, California. And then after 9/11, he joined the military again, but he served side of the Air Force, and he finished time and retired 2018-19 time frame, about 5 years ago. He retired, and that was a total of 23, 24 years of military service he completed, and now he is a teacher, and he's in I want to say, what is it, Monterey, California, but closer to Riverside, California. He's a high school junior ROTC instructor. He loves it. He still has his military side hat on, and he has the opportunity to teach cadets. And so, good for him. It was definitely the influence that led me to want to join the Air Force, was his influence. And so, I am the second generation, well, first generation woman, but for second generation of my family to join the military. And my niece just joined the Navy, and she just graduated a couple weeks ago. So it's like she's a third generation, so it's awesome.
Well, to both to your niece and your father, I say as a citizen, I appreciate the sacrifices they've made and making for this country. I hope they do well. I mean, like I said, it's tough. Like I said again, I've done a couple interviews earlier this month with a couple ladies who are veterans in the Army, also Marine Corps, some ladies who've done Navy. The military life again is it does help with the bodybuilding lifestyle. And then sometimes a lot of people get out of the life. You have to really find something that really helps them up. And I think that's why some of them get into bodybuilding because they like the regiment, they like the routine of it. So as you were saying, you were dealing with injuries, and that's a tough part about that because that can slow you down your progress. I can understand because I got two bad knees like Stone Cold Steve Austin. I mean, I mean, one of my knees right now is near bone on bone. I need to take care of eventually, and you feel that that's the thing that's hindering you from maybe possibly like what happened at Arizona that didn't get you qualification.
Um, yes. So it's funny. 2 years ago at Legion Sports Fest, I acquired an injury 3 weeks before the show. It was I had to develop a stress fracture, and then on top of the stress fracture, my Achilles, I grew a bone spur, and the bone spur points, and it was stabbing my Achilles. So I absolutely could not put any weight on my right foot, and at Legion Sports Fest, I had to, I have to accredit Kai for his recommendation to try to pose on both sides to make sure your body is fully developed. I had no choice but to pose on my least dominant side in order to compete at the show, which is why I was not expecting a win. I paid for the show, the hotel, plane costs, and so I wanted to experience it. Was not expecting the win. I did not feel like some of the sides that I posed on was my strongest, and it completely ruined my routine, what I was preparing to do for my routine, because I absolutely could not handle any weight on my right side. So that was 2 years ago. I wanted to compete last year, but my body just wasn't responsive in 23. So I kind of used that as a year off. I did not gain too much weight, probably about 10, 15 pounds from stage weight. And then I went into this year with all of the um, motivation, thinking I'm healed from my stress fracture. My bone spur has doled itself out, so I can put weight on my right foot. I'm a runner. That's typically my choice for cardio. I run this year, and 3 months into my prep, I pulled my hamstring. It was a light pull, so I wasn't aware that I pulled it, but it prevented me from doing interval training. I like to run outside for 20, 30 minutes in the morning. I typically will train morning and evening, and I'll do more cardio in the morning, and I do more weightlifting in the evening. So I'm limping around at work, and boss is like, "You probably should get that seen." I was like, "All right, I'll go to the physical therapy because I'm starting to hurt my knees. I thought maybe I needed some new shoes." So they took X-ray of my knees. I have arthritis in my knees. I still have that bone spur, but it's not causing me injuries. I go to physical therapy. They give me acupuncture, dry needling, and they work out 17 knots in just my left hamstring. And there was one that couldn't work out. And every exercise I do to re-strengthen it, I keep re-tearing it. So I can't do stairs. I couldn't do elliptical. I could not run. And those are the cardios that give me the most intensity, that let me sweat. So it really impacted how hard I looked this year. And the only cardio I could do was walking. And in order to kind of lean out, I would walk an incline, which will re-aggravate the torn hamstring. So it's still torn. It's affecting my posing. I have to change direct legs when I pose in my front double bi set. I have to change some direction when I do my side chest, my tricep pose, because I'm not able to flex my left leg muscle fully. And that's just an obstacle. So to be here, to even be first call out at Arizona, that was such an amazing venue, a beautiful show. I hope to do that show again. To even be first call out with all these obstacles, it's a blessing. I hope I do well at this show. It would mean a lot, considering everything that I faced this year. On top of that, as a military member, I have an assignment to Japan in January. I report. So to go to Japan with Olympia qualification would be such a blessing. So that's what I'm striving for. I'll do my best and see what happens.
Well, this year is also, next year is going to be, they'll have the Masters Olympia in Japan. So are you also doing the Masters, not do the Masters?
I would have to, I'm 38. So
Oh, you're not.
I have to do it. So by the time they actually have the Masters, I'll be 38, 39 and a half. So I would not have the opportunity to compete in the Masters category to be eligible. So it'll be really convenient. I'll probably watch it since Tokyo is only 2 hour flight up to where I'm being stationed at Okinawa. But not going to be able to compete in it. So maybe next time. So.
Well, like I said, give the time, you get it, because a lot of Masters, there's, like I said, Masters really has grown the last few years. I mean, it wasn't that many master classes, but we have Masters Olympia. You have a lot of shows that have it. This show has it. I think you have that potential. You have a great look. I mean, you have a great physique. I mean, y'all ladies, this is why I do this content about y'all ladies. I respect y'all passion, your commitment to sport, but also I respect y'all bodies, because, like I said, my crime is I am a muscle person, and sometimes it's just y'all ladies, you excite me. I mean, it's just seeing y'all just up on the stage and y'all flexing your beautiful bodies, and I just it completes me. But but this is, like I said, a lot of this is about this. People need to understand that there's so much to this. It's not as easy as everybody think it is. Like Ronnie Coleman says, everybody wants to be a bodybuilder, but no one lifts a heavy ass weight.
I will. I And you had mentioned something earlier about military helping you with the structure. I think that I do the best when I have to report to work. I get up at 3:30 in the morning. I live about an hour from the base. I get up at 3:30. I'm out the door 4:20 after I walk my dog, get ready, head to the gym. I get to the gym 5 o'clock, a little bit after 5. I leave the gym a few minutes after 7. I drive up the street. I report to work by 7:30. I have all my meals with me. So it's convenient to be in my office, interact with the people, go to my meetings, and have my meals that I can conveniently warm up instead of having to leave, go off site. Now, when we have to deploy or we have exercises or go on temporary duty, that's a different story. But as long as I'm reporting to work on regular hours, very convenient. Then after work, instead of sitting in traffic, because I live roughly an hour with no traffic, that means I'll be in traffic for 2 hours. I will drive to Powerhouse and I will, which is halfway from base and home, and I will just work out there, and I'll work out at Powerhouse. I get there about 5:30. I leave there 7:30, closer to 8, and then there's no traffic when I get home. That is my routine. So I am basically out the door 4:30, back home around 8. Very short little window to prepare for the next day, clean up, walk my dog, have time to myself, and sleep. So when I'm at work, I'm like probably getting about 5 hours of sleep during the weekdays, which means on the weekends I catch up on my sleep and I sleep in. So, but I seem to get all my water in, all my meals, and I like the structure. Even when we have days where we're off, and they need a few people to work, I raise my hand to work because I like the accountability of having to get up, having to report to work. It keeps me on structure. And so as you mentioned, there's a lot of sacrifices you have to make when it comes to like saying no to alcohol. My entire flight will go out for a going away, a luncheon or a birthday celebration. And I will go and I will order something that I can eat on the menu, like a salad, or maybe just go and sit there and watch everyone drink a glass of water or what have you. And sometimes if I'm close to a show and I'm not eating a lot of carbs and smell, I'm very sensitive to smells, I might just say no altogether. And so you lose out on a lot of the social aspect of it if you really want to do well and keep yourself in line. But being in the sport, it's a blessing because you're around a lot of like-minded individuals, a lot of people who are willing to investigate what it takes to get to your goal. You're willing to uh, accept defeat, accept a loss, and not accept it as a failure, but accept it as a lesson to figure out what you can do to advance. And just being around all these athletes and watching everyone grow together is amazing. And so I encourage more people to find their passion to do it. I will always have something to train for. I love the accountability. I love having seasons where you're on, where you're off. I like how I can control my weight, be how in tune I am with diet, just foods that my body agrees with, foods that my body does not agree with. And I just being around people that understand that, it makes it that much better. So to each of their own. I definitely encourage some sort of sport that you're passionate about and it has room for growth. And bodybuilding has no age limit. So I don't know if I'm going to be doing this when I'm 7 years old, Lord willing, but I know that it's an option. So we'll see how far this takes me.
Yeah, I know quite a few ladies. I know Lady A while back. Was 60, and she just did a show about a month or so ago. She's 61 now, and I think the lady in figure. I think she's 72. I mean, I've talked to ladies like I'm talking to have conversations. Say, like I look at them and say, "Wow, she's really young," and then realize she's like 50. I say, "What? You can't be 50. I'm 50. I look like I'm 50 because I'm born 50 in November. I'm 49 now, and yeah, this sport has evolved over time. Like, how you look at it now, how you look at like how Andrea was like you, she was in physique, but then she moved to bodybuilding. You have Ashley Jones, then you have people like Sarah Vilgas and Natalia Cuejo and a lot of these ladies. Like this one lady who was competing at the Arizona Pro, Manon, in figure. She took second to Jessica Reyes Padilla. She's doing her second show as physique competitor, her seventh show overall. She's already qualified for figure. And you seen that as a competitor, how the sports are just changing and evolving over time.
Yes, it's amazing. I think that most athletes kind of know what category they want to be in. It's just a matter of accepting it and going for it. I always wanted to do women's physique. I did not want to do figure, but I knew that that was the size for me. And then, as I mentioned, 2 years into the category, it just wasn't, really wasn't my personality. And so seeing all the women in other categories evolve, I think we all kind of know the category for us. I have a few people ask me if I am thinking about advancing up to women's bodybuilding. Not at the moment. If I were to advance, it would be by accident. I don't feel like I grow that fast. I think I grow about an average of 2-3 pounds a year if I'm measuring my muscle. And I don't even know if that's accurate because the goal is to get leaner and leaner each year. So at most 4 or 5 pounds a year. So at the rate that in which I'm growing, I don't see myself being competitive for female bodybuilding. I'm only 5'5", and I typically step on stage low 140s. And so I've been low 140s for the past 5 years when I get on stage. So I think most women bodybuilders at my height, they're, I'm guessing 155 and up, so lean. So I just don't, I don't foresee that being something that happens anytime soon. There are some beautiful physique in women's bodybuilding. There are probably about a handful that I just admire. I can just watch all day. But and so that's definitely encouraging if I were to put on a little bit more muscle to go up to the category. But not something I'm aiming for. It's gonna if it by accident. But until then, I'm very happy in my category now.
Yeah, I can say I'm Marcy's ladies. Like most definitely, I said again, I'm a fan of Andrea Shaw. I think she brings a level of muscle and beauty. It's just so amazing. I mean, you competed with her back in the day. You were at the Arizona with her. I mean, also as I said again, my big brother's competing, Mr. Big Keith Williams. He's competing this weekend, and here he is. He has his hand on my girl. I tell him. He sent me that picture last year and said, "Hey, George, I see this picture. I'm hanging with Andrea, and he has head my girl. He's my brother. I love him, but I don't. I'm sorry, Evon. I get jealous like that. I mean, he's a great guy. I always pick him up about that. And who's you working with? Who's your coach, and how long y'all been working together?
So my coach, his name is Blue Taylor. I've been working with him. Um, I turned pro in 2019, so I turned pro at USA's in Nevada, which that was a miracle, turning pro at that show. But I knew at that time it was time for me to move on. A little bit about that, I'll say. I think it's worth mentioning. I Marcus Cotto was my coach from the beginning, from 2014 on. He is the reason why I turned pro. His methods is strictly diet and training, nothing else in addition to that. And so for me, I have a very responsive body to diet and a very responsive body to training based on my background. But also with that, your body needs a break. And in preparation for 2019 to turn pro, my body was tired. I had a couple instances where I had to go to the ER for some medical reasons. Another indication that my body was tired, and it wasn't his fault or anyone's fault, but I was so close to turning pro from the previous attempts. I really wanted USA's was the next reasonable show for me, and I wanted to push it through. And so going to the emergency room, I ended up gaining all this weight, and my body just was not responsive, very resistant to some of the methods that I would use to lose water weight and lose weight. And I managed to turn pro by drinking 3 gallons of water a day in order to lose the water weight that I gained from going to the emergency room and getting put on, I put saline hydration packs in me or whatever to help normalize everything for me. And it was, like I said, it wasn't anything to do with training. It was something more internal. But I had all this water weight on me, like 15 pounds, and I couldn't get it off. I couldn't sweat it out. There wasn't enough cardio I could do. Nothing was working. So I drank 3 gallons of water, and I ended up losing about a pound a day, 10 days out. And I wasn't the way I was before, but I was enough to go on stage, and miraculously I turned pro. And I would have been happy with second, but I ended up winning my class. And if you ever look back on that green suit 2019, I was very puffy. You could see my lines that were very faint, and it was because I had a lot of medical issues leading up to the show. And so I give all kudos to my coach that gave me a mindset that the look that I have on stage, it will always be dominated from training and nutrition. And it's not going to be dominated from anything else. As it is a value I live by, and it was 100%. I 100% thank my previous coach for that. As far as my new coach or my current coach, Blue Taylor, he is definitely all about training and nutrition as well too, and very conservative with his female athletes. And so you go on his page, you barely see any female athletes. You see a lot of monstrous men. They're all vascular and shredded and what have you. But the few female athletes you do see, I really do appreciate their conditioning. You can see that they are very depleted. They are lean. They're either petite or they're not very masculine looking at all. They just look like they have been dieting for a very long time. Probably suffer from some low carb diets, some depletion methods or what have you, and they look great and they always place well. I always place in the top 5, and so I stuck with him because I'll say this just to, if I'm being transparent, I think that typically, at least I read being medical, typically women of color, African descent, Hispanic descent, they have weaker kidneys, and so you can't use all the oral methods that a lot of coaches propose, whether it's fat burners or what have you. It's going to weaken your kidneys and it's going to make you hold on to a lot of water weights. And so looking at the caliber and the athletes that my current coach compared to other coaches, I really do like how the women of color, how their conditioning turned out. And so I kind of stuck with him. As I mentioned, diet and nutrition is what dominates my training. He is for that. He really does care about our health, our long-term health, not just in prep. And so here I am, and he is guiding me. He guided me to Olympia last time I went. He's guiding me through this season now. So
that's good to have a good relationship with coach, because I know some ladies that some coaches would give the same kind of cookie cutter program to even to women, because you can't give the same thing to a man can give to a woman. And also, as Black people, we are genetically different compared to other ethnic groups. I know I was taking medication because I have issues with high blood pressure. It's genetic, and it got me one point. It got me a swollen neck, and I couldn't talk, and my tongue. It can affect, especially genetics is a factor. And it's good that you and your coach have a relationship. Now, when you're training, and right now you can't do too much because of your hamstring, what's your least and favorite workout while you're working out?
So I like to train my legs. Squatting is my favorite exercise. I'm quad dominant. I can get down pretty. I can squat pretty heavy, and I really do like the way I feel when I'm squatting. I like the adrenaline I get, the rush, even when I'm mastering a weight that I haven't mastered in a while or have never mastered before. I like how the entire gym stops to make sure I clear the weight. I like the way, and then I'll have people in the background cheering, making sure that I might go down, come up slow, but I'll clear it. And they're cheering in the background as they're watching. So that's always a great feeling. My leg days are typically Wednesdays and Sundays. I will do different exercises on those days, but it's a good feeling, especially on Sunday when I would exercise. My least favorite is a part of it's deadlifting. I don't enjoy deadlifting. Obviously, that works your hamstrings, your glutes, and your back. I have a very small lower, my back's very small. It correlates with my waist. That gets strained very easily. My hamstrings are typically weaker. And my glutes are weaker. I just do not prioritize those. I did not prioritize those exercises when I was in figure. And I'll say something from that a lot of people are surprised by. I didn't work legs for the first 4 years of bodybuilding. I'm not saying I didn't do any workouts, but I might do some extensions and some curls, and that's it, a couple times a month. But I didn't really work legs, so I was afraid of them growing. So as a consequence, me being a women's physique athlete and actually wanting to create some size. My hamstrings and glutes are underdeveloped compared to my quads, and so when I do try to push myself with deadlifting exercises that dominate my hamstrings and glutes, I typically string something. And as you can see, I have a pulled hamstring. It wasn't from deadlifting; it was from running. I'm sprinting, but they're just weaker. They're just weaker muscle components on my body, and it's uncomfortable doing the exercises, and I'm always afraid I'm gonna hurt myself. So, least favorite deadlifts, favorite squats, for sure.
Yeah, because that's a process. That everything that makes a great bodybuilder, you have to work on your strengths and also work on your weaknesses. And it's a lot of work. Like I said again, this sport is not very lucrative, as you know. You've been in the military, that helps a little bit. You have any sponsors, or everything's on your shoulders?
No, and it's 100% my fault. I every now and then I might get a couple opportunities, but I'm not on social media as often as I could be. It's just because I just really prioritize training and work. And when I'm at work, I am at work. I am rarely on my phone looking at posts and stuff. And so, in order for me to be a little bit more active in social media, then it would interfere with my training. I would have to like videotape, make sure it looks good, and I don't have the time, for it. I have to hire someone to capture that footage for me and to make it look pretty in order to advertise on social media. And so, because I could do better on social media, I feel like that's interfering with my sponsor opportunities. But I know that that will change. I just have to really navigate my schedule a little bit better. I feel when I go to Japan, I'll have an opportunity to reset how far I live from work. That's going to play a huge role in my training, my sleep, and the time I have available to advertise a little bit more of what I do and what I represent. So it'll change here shortly.
Yeah, because sponsorship does help because the cost of like your expense to come here to this show, the cost of your posing suits, the cost of your coach because you got to pay your coach, hair, makeup, everything. For like I say this for the men, all they got to do is wear banana hammock and a pair of board shorts. And y'all ladies, you have to look presentable. You have to you say you don't want to do figure because you don't want to do high heels. I understand that. One of my jobs, I used to work a strip club, and high heels was the thing. That's what they needed. But you still have to make yourself that level of femininity and also that balance of muscle. That's why I say like this is supposed to muscle of masculinity. You have to find that balance. And people are kind of like lurid because they're picking divisions that are more popular, like as I call them, the teenage divisions as well as the bikini. But you women in physique and women's bodybuilding and figure and fitness, y'all deserve just some recognition, just some respect. You this could help y'all in the long run. But people are always going to make these snide remarks like, well, yeah, she's trying to be manly, yeah, yeah, and yada, yada, yada. But like I say, is if you don't have that same passion and determination as you do, why talk about somebody else?
Um, so I guess one when it comes to like comments, I don't experience that a lot. And there I do experience it. I just don't experience it a lot. And really, I think maybe about 5, 7 years ago, I would have been a little bit more hurt because um, this is who I am. If anyone was interested in my life and they wanted to research whatever I do have on the internet, social media, you can see my progression. I'll even post, even it's not too long ago, I posted a picture of me running track, starting on the starting blocks. 14 years old, you can see the muscles in my arms. Like I've always been lean, I've always been athletic, and people have been teasing me for looking masculine my entire life. It doesn't hurt my feelings because I don't agree with them. I feel like if people are going to go out of their way to criticize someone else, they have their own internal issues that they have to work towards. I just want to pray for them. I'm not going to allow them to disrupt my peace. I like the way that I look. I've always liked the way that I look. I'm not going to allow someone else and their opinions to bring me down because they have to face what they're facing. So I don't get a lot of criticism. I do get it. It's not often. And I just feel like, you know, that's what comes with the sport. There are some women that have a little bit more of a masculine look in my category. And to be honest, like, and I didn't feel this way about 5, 7 years ago, but I feel this way now. I feel like some of the athletes, when you're in it, you're in it. And when you aren't happy with how hard you worked and the results that you're getting, you might dabble into some substances that will enhance your look, and maybe you evolve into a more masculine version of yourself without even noticing it, and maybe you don't care. That's their choice. Like, they're happy with themselves. They're happy with themselves. I'm not going to talk about them, make fun of them. I look the way that I want to look, and there's always going to be a category for me, whether I evolve or go down. So I think the important thing is being happy with yourself, liking what you see in the mirror. And if you don't like it, you take control over what you dislike, so that you're in a position to like it, and don't allow outside influences to affect your peace. And so that's just the motto I live by. And it's been keeping me happy and peaceful moving forward. And I hope others can find that in themselves. So.
Yeah, that's good. You should live for you. And like I said, I think you ladies are beautiful. This picture right here, I just pulled it up here. You know, this is one here. This is right after Arizona. Wow. It's, to me, it's beautiful. I love all type of women. You know, growing up from the South, we had women with full figure, but I've been a fan of women's bodybuilding for quite a long time. And I respect y'all ladies. And also I remember when I first was it was this chat room. I first got into it, and this guy told me, say, "Hey kid, you like women's bodybuilding?" I said, "Yeah, I like it. I'm a fan of it." I said, "Well, it's an old smoke saying." I said, "What's that?" I said, "When you ladies rock hard, we'll rock hard." So that's a no different story. But yeah, you have to be committed and passionate about this sport. You have to understand the sacrifice you have to make, and the time you have to put into it, and also dieting and training. And I know you're competing tomorrow. What's that thing that you've been desiring since you're on prep? What's that thing that's calling you, Evon? Share with us. Hmm?
Like a craving, like something I want to eat when my prep is over. Is that what you're asking?
Yes.
Um, I have this every prep, and I'll tell myself it gets so wild that I'll find myself on TikTok looking at food, just watching people make recipes that I will never make and I'll probably never eat. But knowing that I can is what I desire. I'll say I'm not a big pizza fan. I've never been a big pizza fan. I'm not really big on burgers and French fries. I'll eat them, but I would never just decide that I crave it. I grew up in San Diego. I'm a very big fan of tacos. I typically incorporate the soft street tacos. I make them myself on the weekend. So it's not something that I've been without. Leading up to the show, I've been without, especially closing in. But it's not so like neglected in my diet to the point where I can't wait to have it. If I'm being honest, I probably won't. But knowing that I can have like a piece of a brownie like in the morning with my black coffee, knowing I can have it, it's the freedom I'm looking forward to. I probably won't eat it because I don't like the way it will make my stomach feel. But knowing I can if I wanted to, that's what I'm looking forward to, is that freedom. Something about, like, even now, like, I only can have like the rest of what's in this bottle for the rest of the night before I cut my water off. And all of a sudden, I'm suddenly thirsty. So never thirsty. I'm always doing I always do so poorly with my water intake. It's always such a chore to drink my water. But when you tell me I can't have it, then suddenly I become thirsty. And so I just think being deprived of certain nutrients and foods make you crave it. But I can't honestly say that there's something that I really can't wait to have after the show. It's just either I can incorporate it in, or I think it's just more of the freedom. In the moment that you give it to me, I won't want it. So.
Yeah. Everybody has a different taste of what they like or what they want. I mean, like I said, it's about who you are, and your feelings. And like I said, it's tough. Like, people don't understand when y'all competitors are up there on stage, y'all tired, you're dehydrated. y'all are hangry. You're going to cut back on your water. I mean, I like to drink water, but sometimes water is boring. I like a little something with a little sweet to it. I mean, I understand. But you know what? This is a lot that people need to understand the sacrifices again and the time you put into this sport. And I know you're getting ready. You got this show coming up, and this could possibly get you to your Olympic qualification. And I do truly wish you the best of luck on that. I mean, like I said, there's some ladies who represent. I think one lady I recognize who's competing. She competed also with you. That's Jessica Campbell. She competed with
Yeah.
you back in
Mhm.
2022. Yeah. And there was some ladies on the list that it dropped off, particularly. I think I saw female bodybuilding challenge, particularly that you, Jessica, and another lady are possibly going to be the contenders for the title. But like I said, this is like anything. No one ever really knows, especially when you get into a fight. And you never know who's going to really win. Sometimes it's like easy. Like you got a fight coming up in a couple of months, Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. Hey, Mike Tyson may be 67 years old, but he's going to knock that boy's head off. I'm going to be honest with you. But you as being an athlete, a woman, a service person in the military, what would you tell somebody who want to get into sport? What would advice you would give them if they think about getting into bodybuilding?
That's a good question, and I think I thought about this in a perspective of my own and a perspective of someone else. I want to make sure that if you're going to get into the sport, that you're not in love with the result, that you actually can learn to love the process. I think that's the biggest thing with it. It's not fun getting up early in the morning to train, but I know I love the way that I feel when I'm actively sweating. I love the way that I feel after I train. I love how responsible I feel knowing that I burn calories before consuming food. And I love the respect that I get because people know that I get up early in order to commit to training. I like the way that I feel when I eat foods. I think the food tastes amazing. Like eating all fish, I've been eating all fish for the last 3.5 or so months, but I like the way that I season it and I'm not tired of it. And so I think that I cook my own food. If you get tired of your food, figure out a different way to season it. Grill your chicken a certain way, marinate it a certain way. But you have to love the working out portion. You don't have to love every aspect of it, but maybe you can sandwich something you love, something you dislike, and something you love to get through it. Make sure your food tastes good, that you don't mind eating it. That way you don't have to have competing values when it comes to something you prepare and something you can purchase when it's convenient. When you like your food, you like the way it tastes, it's easier to stick with it. And then just enjoy the weekly progress that you do make. Every week you're going to see a little bit of a change, whether the weight goes down or your body changes, and that will give you enough motivation to carry forward. And before you know it, 10 weeks goes by, and then your muscles are showing on your arms and your abs are showing and your body's developing because you're in love with the process. But so many people just love the respect that you get from winning a show on stage, and they think they want to commit to a bodybuilding and show. And when you overwhelm them with a meal plan and training regimen and all these things you have to incorporate, they get overwhelmed and they get stressed out, or they go through with it and they become very depressed and all these other directions that you go. You have to love the process. And so really it's going to start with changing some behaviors that you may have that you have to get rid of in order to fully commit to it. But once you love the process, I don't see anyone stopping the competition lifestyle. Anytime, whether you compete once and never again, you will like forever incorporate the way some of the measures bodybuilders do when it comes to training, eating clean, because you like the way it makes you feel. So I think that's the most important factor. Loving the process, loving training, loving some aspect of training, loving clean foods, how it makes you feel, being in tune with your body. Those are important factors. And it's not just because you don't like all the food doesn't mean that you won't learn to love the food, doesn't mean that you can't season it a certain way to love it. I think those are important things to consider first, opposed to just this very overwhelming regimen to look your best for the stage, and then after the stage is over, after your competition is over, you go back to your old ways, and then you gain all your weight back, and then you become like lost. It's like no, you gotta like love the process, and so figuring that out in every stage, like continue to commit to shows and figure out ways that you can not dread eating your food, not dread training. There's going to be times where you're very depleted and weak, and that's normal. But for the most part, if you are weeks out for your show, you should not dread training. You should not dread eating your food. And if you do, you won't last very long. So I think that mastering that, figuring that out for each athlete is the most important part. And anyone can do it. Anyone can do this. A category for everyone. So truly believe that. And I think that if people take the time to invest in what they like and what will work for them, they'll be very happy with themselves. Like, it's not, there are so many ways that you can make foods that you love in a healthier way than you're used to eating it. And just taking the time to invest and research those methods is important. So,
Yeah, because it is a process, and you love it. Also, you trust it. You also have to understand it. Then you can fully trust and love the process, because this is a sport where it is mentally, physically, financially, emotionally draining. I mean, there's so much to it, and like I said, it does help you change your lifestyle, because like doing this content, talk to you ladies. At one point, I was almost 500 pounds, and then talking to you ladies, learning some stuff. I made some decisions to change, because for a long time I was taking care of my mom. She was sick. She passed away. I just have me to take care of now. And talking with you ladies, I get education. Y'all commit and passion. I couldn't do what y'all do. I know I have some habits I can't get away. I love sweets. But I really get a knowledge and understanding when I did conversations and interview with you ladies. People need to know that, because and like I said, this is a lovely lady right here, folks. She has a lovely smile. She's a beautiful woman. Like my other guy would like to say. He says, "I often." She says, "Wait a minute, he's popping up." He usually takes it a little slow. He says, sometimes what things that make you stranger can make you stronger. And I'm not gonna hold you much too longer, Evon. I want to tell you, you are beautiful. I'm so sorry. I can't help it. He's a part of me. I can't let him guide me. But we're not gonna hold us too much longer. Like I said, she just got finished with checking. She had to eat. She had to do tanning. She got a big show coming up, folks. And like I said again, if you want to watch the show, you can go to my YouTube channel. You can find the video for the Legion Sports Festival. You can find the link. It's they're gonna have the live stream. It is they do it a packet. It's like $30.99 for both days, so you can catch the Masters and the Open class. Because I think the Open's today, and the Masters is tomorrow. My man Big Keith is doing both. And like I said, this is why I do this, because people need to educate themselves on what y'all men and women do in this sport. You need to understand what it takes, because and support does help. Like, I know guys out there, like I said, she's a beautiful lady. She's an intelligent lady. She serves our country. But guys, I don't want this guy like, "Hey, Vaughn, yeah, cute, because you know what? If you're my sergeant, my master sergeant, well, you want no, 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 stop that. Stop that, guys. Stop that." We say, "Sergeant Penningon, we are interested in you. We like your story, your passion. We respect your commitment to our country as a service person. If you will be interested in being a ambassador for our product, if it's something that works with you, we'll set up a contract, take care of you. We also will respect your time as an Air Force, enlisted person. We will let you know what we want from you, and you know what we want from us. And we want to see you grow as an athlete, nothing more than that. So would you be interested in becoming a brand ambassador for our company?"
yeah, if my schedule allows it, I certainly will support. And I think that
Well, yeah,
is,
we'll work with your schedule, ma'am, because we respect your service as in our military. But we will work with it. We will want to see you grow as an athlete, and we like you, and we respect your passion. We have here, this is out from a man, Diverse Adams. Shout out to him, he just come through, and he says, "Good evening, brother. Usually, appreciate you coming through." And like I said, we're not gonna hold much too much longer, because, like I said, she's got to get ready. She got to get some rest. She got to do that. Maybe getting that last bit of water in before she goes get ready for the show. This is a question I would ask anybody. What would you want out of bodybuilding for yourself as a whole?
you said after bodybuilding, well, what I want.
Well, just as a whole bodybuilding. Now, after whichever, what would you want out of bodybuilding as a whole after?
Um, so I've, if I'm thinking of it correctly, for as a whole for bodybuilding, I'm in it in the season that I'm in it. I'm going to compete the years that I feel that I'm the most competitive during my peak. Well, following bodybuilding, I would definitely like to find a way to give back, whether it's in the form of teaching, whether it's in the form of producing something, so that the challenges that I went through, it's not repeated in the next contender and next generation of athletes. And so I definitely want to continue to give as it allows, and the most genuine and the best way that I can give. And so that's going to be giving my time, knowledge, expertise, however I can give back. So that way I'm still in it. I'm still contributing. I'm still making a difference. I don't have to get so stuck in what used to be in my past. I can truly be happy with my past and move forward and help the next generation. So that's just kind of how I see it. So, I can't hear you.
Yeah, a little
Oh, there.
powerful. Yeah, there you go. But yeah, that would be good because you know what? This would help a lot of people who might not understand what it takes to compete in sport. The time you got to put in, the money you got to put into it. Just I would say whatever can help along the way to educate people, to understand what it takes. Like I said, I got people telling me, say, George, people can't do what I do. You know, see, some people can't go out on the stage and compete. Some people just like to work out, and sometimes it takes that, like yourself, if you fell into it, you have to have a passion for it, and that passion can guide you into your future. It helps with your lifestyle, and you understand sacrificing the time you put into it. You got to respect it. But you know what? I wish one thing I say this about, especially for y'all Ivy pros and just any competitor, I wish there was more incentive for y'all. I mean, like you're in the military, you get benefits and incentives. I wish there was stuff like, like the prize money I saw for the show. It's not much. I mean, the cost you got to come here from all the way from Florida to all the way to here. I mean, why didn't you do the Daytona show?
What show?
It's the show Daytona.
I don't think they have. Oh, that's the same weekend.
Yeah, yeah, that could have saved you time.
It was. I have not done well at Florida shows. I think that we all have to find our region. The typically my experience with Florida shows, from what I've seen and what I've experienced, it almost does not. They've always picked the leanest athlete. It doesn't matter your shape. It doesn't matter, the size. You might be an athlete that should be going up to bodybuilding. You might be an athlete that should really be in a smaller category. But if you're the leanest on stage, they pick you. So that has been my experience every time I watch a Florida show or do a Florida show. So, and I don't always understand why the winner is the winner. So I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna just do a show in a different area, and then maybe I'm looked at a little bit more to what I can present. So I did well here a couple years ago. It's definitely a different prep, so I'm gonna do the best I can tomorrow. I thought that I would do well in Chicago, but they picked them a lot fuller than I was expecting, as well too. So I guess you just have to kind of pick your regions that you do. I do better on the West Coast from my experience than I do on the East side, and so just kind of pick your shows and go. But yeah, I did see the Daytona show. At first, it used to just be a master show. And now I see that they have open. But I'm like, that's only a couple hour drive for me. And I haven't done well in Florida shows. So let me pay a little bit of money, go out of the area. That way I can fully just commit to relaxing. So I flew here. Got here Thursday morning because I almost didn't make it because of the hurricane. Canceled all our flights in Florida. But I had an opportunity to really sleep, train, eat my food on time, drink water, and no distractions. I think that when I'm at home, it's easy to just get caught up in my routine, that you get behind on the curve. So, yeah, they had the show Daytona. They had a couple. They have a couple shows in Florida as well too. They got one in Orlando coming up. They got one in Fort Lauderdale coming up. So they have a couple. I just haven't done well in the past to the point where I would have to be a lot leaner than I am now to be like ready to step on stage on another Florida show, if I'm being honest. So
Yeah, I know a friend of mine. She did the Titan Sports, and she was like fourth in women's bodybuilding because that's the show that has that women's bodybuilding in fitness and men's classic. And she told me that she does better in shows in the East than she does out west. I think Tampa, you had someone like Summer Benta who won the show. She did Texas and Tampa. And come on, you think about it. That's somebody who's already qualified Olympia. She's gonna blow everybody else out of the water. It's unfair. I mean, and I think judges also is different because I know sometimes judges are different from overseas and judges here and Chicago because you were seventh in Chicago. I know Arla Harris, she won that show in Atlanta,
mhm.
and it's just sometimes the judges, I think they have a lot more control. When is it? If you face someone like Tyler or Sandy. Sandy wasn't at the Arizona; it was a different lady because I think Sandy was doing another show. And it's just what works for you. I mean, I can expect that I know I talk about this how there should be more bodybuilding shows for women bodybuilding in Florida because there's only just the Tampa Bay Pro, and it's just about what works for you, where you feel like you do best. And like I said, you were very close at Arizona. You won this show last year. You might do well this show. Also, there's a Triple O Dynasty. I don't know if it's you'll be. I think you're going to be in Japan by that year, and that's early in the year. And there shows like the Arnold will have y'all 80 more, which is kind of unfair. I mean, it's just like Arnold. He like Arnold is and Arnold rather have a. But you know what? I understand why you feel like this is the best show that works for you. You did good your first time winning this show, and now coming back here, maybe possibly depending how the other competitors look, this could be most definitely the show to get you another shot at Olympia. We have here my man KL the Wonder. He says, "What's up?" Say thank you, brother. What's up? He also he likes to ask questions like this. He says he says, uh, you have any war stories to tell me? I mean, he said, I don't know. He says just teasing. So appreciate that, brother. Also, we got here a man, so my lady, Loretta Dovanovic. She says blessings. Hope you win your next competition. Thank you. And also, she says you're pretty.
Thank you.
Yeah, she is pretty, guys. But guys, my rules, guys. You want to follow her on social media, but respect her. Okay, this is a lady. This is a lady here. She serves our country, so no weird shit. All right. So, like I said, we're not gonna hold much longer, and we do appreciate time you has given us in this interview. We wish you best of luck. So, what you have anybody you want to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Um, well, I think that for this season, my Air Force family back at McDill, Tampa, huge shout out. If you're medical, if you are public health, or in the Air Force, shout out to you because you guys have definitely been a great support to me in this journey. And there will be days where I just do not feel as motivated as I would a year or two ago. And because I know that you guys are all depending on me and looking at me and looking up to me, it pushes me forward. So, my Air Force family, I'm with you guys 10, 12 hours a day, at least 5 days a week. You guys have all been so supportive and so understanding. So, that's the biggest shout out. I'm definitely going to give a shout out to Kai Green. He is my mental like rock, like I'm not always seeing the perspective I need to see, and he'll ground me. He'll put me in the perspective I need to. So he's definitely a great motivator, very charismatic, very caring gentleman. So, and then my family, my father, my sister, they always try to come out and support me, whether it's virtually or in person. And so I just, again, Air Force family, Kai Green, my family. And then last but not least, my coach, definitely all business. I'm all business. We have a great relationship, and so we get things done. We communicate, and it's great. So I don't think that I think without the four entities in which I gave a shout out to, I wouldn't be here today. So I want to thank everybody and their support.
Well, that's good that you have all these people in your lives. I know that your family back at the Air Force Base say, "Come on, Sarge, let's do this, Sarge, let's go." And your father and your sister and your niece and everybody else in your family support you, and your coach supports you. I mean, we got people here who are fans and who support you. Gotta respect your commitment and passion to the sport. That's the biggest thing. A lot of people don't understand what it takes to do what y'all do, the time you got to put into it. I know, like I said again, the food thing, how sometimes we just summer just ended, barbecues and stuff like that. You can't be around like, hey, we're cooking this. Evon said, nah, I can't have that. You got to bring your own food and all that stuff. There's so much to this sport and so much to this, the time y'all put in, the work you put in. And when you understand and you are focused and determined, you can go a long way. I mean, like I said again, this is about respecting who you are as both as an athlete, as a woman, as a person who serves this country. And I wish you all the best. I mean, I truthfully do. This is from Loretta. She says, it takes super dedication to reach that level of fitness. And also, KL Ashton always he says he says, was she ever a pilot? No. If you were here earlier, she was not a pilot, but she, you ever jumped out of planes?
No, we as medical, we have to make sure that the people who do jump out of the planes are healthy. So that's my role in the Air Force. So.
Yeah, so she makes sure that when if you break your legs jumping out of a plane, she's there to bandage you. Okay, so that's a good thing. So, folks, if you want to, so again, if you want to check out Evon, her link is in the description of this live stream. Check her out, follow her. Also, so again, you can go to my channel on YouTube where I posted a video for the upcoming Legion Sports Festival. If you want to watch that show, you can click the link, go there. They have a bundle where it's like $39 for $40 after taxes. So if you want to watch the show, it's going to, it's going to be different time zone because I think the show starts at 10. I think is it 10 or is it?
It's going to be 9:30 prejudging. I believe it's 4 o'clock finals, but then that's Pacific time. So as far as streaming, you're going to have to, if you're on the East Coast, add another 3 hours to that. And
Yeah.
then
I know. That's why, because I remember, because it's going to be like at 10, so I could be about 12, 11, 1 o'clock my time. So, yeah, I got to remember that. So sometimes we forget that sometimes. Here we got my man. Shout out to my brother, XA Gucci 23 coming through. No, that's my wrong brother. Lawrence Perkins coming through. Says, good evening, Miss Evon, George, and everyone on the chat. Thank you, Lawrence, for coming through. And also, Lawrence says this. He says, I appreciate your service, Miss Evon. Much love to you. No, she's not a soldier. She's an air man, air woman, air person, not a soldier. I had an issue with one person say they called a Marine a soldier. They were about to fight. So you don't call you don't call a sailor a soldier. You call an airman or airwoman a soldier. You call them by what they are in the position. Soldiers are in the army. Marines are a different situation. Hey, you gotta learn this stuff, man. You remember somebody, you don't want to get your head busted. I like you, Lawrence. I don't want you to get you hurt.
I
So,
don't, because I know Air Force derived from the Army at one point. So I understand
yeah,
what they.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, because it was the Air Force that started the Army, and then it grew became its own entity. You go like that. But like I said, y'all still like. I mean, I heard jokes that sometimes you have to be very, very smart. I took the ASFAB when I was young, and I was thinking about joining the Marine Corps, but you get in the Air Force, you have to be very, very smart. I mean,
A lot of tests.
a lot of tests. You have to be pretty much a nuclear science. So. Um, So anyway, we do appreciate the time you're giving us. We wish you best of luck tomorrow. Like I said again, if you want to check out the show, go to my channel. I posted the video. You can find the link and check out the live stream. This helps these competitors. If you're someone in the area, if it's not too late to buy a ticket, buy a ticket. It's in Reno, Nevada. So the littlest biggest town they call it. And we gotta say, man, we wish you all the best of luck. Hope everything turns out well for you. And like I said, maybe this could be the gateway back to the Olympia for next year.
Thank you.
Well, I gotta say it is from my man from Batman Begins. You never have to, because I enjoy giving y'all ladies opportunity to share your stories. I don't need to thank you, but I do appreciate it.
Thank you.
So, folks, we'd like to thank the lovely Sergeant Evon Pennington for coming through. If you want to follow her again, her links are in the description of this live stream. Check her out, support her, reach out to her in genuine interest. Don't be that weird guy. I know, don't be that weird guy. Come on, guys, stop that. You know, it's not nice. It's not funny. It's not pretty. Don't want to see your tongue thumb. Okay, be respectful. This is a lady. She served our country. Anyway, shout out to the people that came through. My man KL, the Wanderer, Lawrence Perkins, my man Russ G, Loretta Dodanovich, and also Lawrence Perkins. Appreciate y'all for coming through. Everyone who watched this video, comment, subscribe, follow us on social media, support us, and also support Evon and her possibility going to Olympia in 2025. Anyway, this is man always yours page, aka the Emperor of Female Body Talk. Like, don't like, subscribe. Good night, good evening, and good luck.